This is my farm. It's on the brink of bankruptcy. Today, we will work in the field, build our first production facilities, and even buy new equipment. All of this is to ensure the farm starts generating tens of thousands of dollars every month. If you're already interested, subscribe to the channel and we'll get started. Waking up early in the morning, I realized that the silage pit was still not ready. So I decided to collect the remaining bales and sell them to earn some money since our account balance was quite low. Without wasting any time, I rushed to get the tractor. After getting in, I attached the trailer and headed to the bales. Arriving at the bales, I carefully loaded them onto the trailer one by one. Once the trailer was loaded to its maximum capacity, I secured the bales with straps and slowly made my way to the selling point to avoid losing any bales on the way. As soon as I reached the destination, I parked the trailer as close to the selling point as possible. Then I unstrapped the bales and carefully unloaded them. The payment for the bales was quite good. After selling them all, we had a decent amount of money in our balance. From this sale, we managed to earn just over $40,000. I'm very pleased with this income as we will need this money soon. On the way back to the farm, I decided to check the state of the silage in the pit. It was still not ready, but it wouldn't take much longer. So let's prepare for its collection. For this, we head to the workshop to add sideboards to our trailer. And with that, the first step of preparation for collecting the silage is complete. Moving on to the second stage of preparation. To load the silage into the trailer, we'll need an auger pipe, so we head to the store to buy one. After finding a suitable option, we purchase it and also get a couple of fuel cans to refill our tractor. So, the first thing I did was refuel the tractor. Once it was refueled, I attached the auger pipe and headed back to the farm. Upon returning, all the equipment for collection was ready, as was the silage in the pit. So I took the tractor with the auger pipe and went to the pit. Upon arrival, I removed the tarp and positioned the auger pipe next to the silage. The next step was to drive the trailer underneath it. Once the trailer was positioned, we turned on the auger pipe and began loading. The process went smoothly, and within a few minutes, our trailer was fully loaded with silage, which holds 18,000 liters. I can't wait to see how much we'll earn from this. Arriving at the selling point, we unloaded our silage and received almost $9,000 for it. Honestly, I expected more, but we have no choice, so we returned and continued transporting silage for sale. After selling another trailer of silage, our balance was already $67,000, which is quite good. Since it was already dark, I decided to stop for the day. So we headed back to the farm, parked the trailer, went to our tent, and called it a night. Waking up the next day, we had a decent amount of money, and I thought it was the perfect time to build our first production facility. So, without wasting any time, I took the tractor and went to find a suitable location for the production site. Not far from where I had been cutting wood, I decided to build a sawmill to produce pallets, which we could sell for much more than just plain wood. The sawmill cost us $40,000 to build and another $1,000 to set it up. In the end, it turned out pretty well. We might add more details in the future, but for now, I'm happy with it. So, let's try to start producing our first pallets. To do this, we return to the farm to get the trailer for transporting logs. After picking it up, we head to the spot where we previously cut down trees. First, we remove the old stumps that were obstructing the tractor's path closer to the trees. Then, we start preparing the logs. After cutting down the first tree, we carefully remove the excess branches and cut the tree into logs of the desired length. Once those are loaded, we move on to the second tree, repeating all the steps. This was enough to fill the entire trailer. We secure the logs with straps and head to our sawmill, where we unload all the logs. Seeing that we only had 6,000 liters of logs at the production site, I realized that one trailer load wouldn't be enough, so I immediately went back for a second load. Cutting down 2 more trees, I loaded them onto the trailer and returned to the sawmill. Now we have enough wood to properly start production. I think this will yield a large batch of pallets. With production started, all we had to do was wait, so I decided to return to selling silage. We head back to the farm, grab the needed trailer, and then go to our loading pipe, parking the trailer under it. We start the loading process. Once the trailer is full, we head to the selling point, sell all the silage, and continue this process. However, after some time, rain interrupted us, so I decided to call it a day for silage work. We head back to the farm. I decided to build several greenhouses. Luckily, we have enough money for this, but an old building was in the way, so I demolished it, which cost me almost $2,000. Now we can build our greenhouses here without any problems. After setting up the first one, I realized that a tree, which had obviously been growing there for a long time due to its size, was obstructing the second greenhouse. Since our sawmill is nearby, it made sense to cut down this tree and move the logs to our production site. So, that's what we did. We carefully cut down the tree, removed the branches, and left only the logs, which we transported to our sawmill. Now we could build the second greenhouse, which I did, paying another $10,000. To make our greenhouses operational, we needed water, so I went to the store to buy a water tank. At the store, I chose a large tank, which cost us almost $16,000. After picking it up, we headed to the fire hydrant near our farm. Once the tank was full, we drove to the greenhouses, where I transferred all the water to the reservoir of one of the greenhouses, and then started growing strawberries in it. As you can guess, one tank wasn't enough for 2 greenhouses, so we immediately went to get a second one. It's a good thing I bought a large tank. Otherwise, I would have had to spend even more time fully watering the greenhouses. After filling up with water, I returned to the farm and filled the second greenhouse, after which we also started growing strawberries in it. Since it was already evening and there was no more work left for the day, we went to rest. The next day, I decided to focus on our field. I think it's time to cultivate it since we harvested the crops a few months ago. Taking the cultivator, I went to the field and started working. The whole process was monotonous and uninteresting, but fortunately, our equipment didn't let us down and performed its job perfectly. After some time, the field was fully cultivated, and now it's completely ready for planting. This time I decided to sow wheat, but for that, we needed a seeder, and we didn't have enough money for it. So I had to go back to selling silage. To earn the necessary amount of money, I sold 2 full trailers, and I think that will be enough to buy a seeder and seeds for it. Heading to the store, I found a good option for $6,000. I also decided to buy a couple of fuel cans, but accidentally bought too many. After filling the tractor's tank to full, I carefully moved the extra cans to the side of the building and left them there. This will be our reserve. Near the store, there was a seed selling point, so I went there. Arriving, I opened the seeder and bought seeds, spending almost $2,000 as well as fertilizer for another $3,000. Then, I immediately headed to our field. Arriving at the field, I immediately got to work. Our seeder was quite wide, so I figured it wouldn't take too long, and I hoped that the seeds and fertilizer we bought would be enough for the entire field. Fortunately, the seeder didn't use up too much, and we had just enough seeds. After finishing the planting, I found a suitable spot for the new seeder and left it there. Then I decided to focus on making money, since we didn't have much left after buying the seeder. So I went back to selling silage, which earned me an additional $8,000. Next, I decided to visit our sawmill to check on things there. Upon arrival, I saw that the first batch of pallets was ready, which made me very happy. I immediately went to remove the sides of the trailer to easily sell them. A few minutes later, I was back at the sawmill loading the pallets onto the trailer. By the time I finished loading, it was already dark, so I decided to go to sleep and sell the pallets the next day. Waking up in the morning, I immediately ran to our tractor, eager to find out how much we would earn from our first batch of pallets made at our own production facility. Arriving at the sales point, I was pleasantly surprised. We earned $23,000 for one trailer load, which is much more than just selling the wood. This was very encouraging. The sawmill turned out to be a very profitable investment, so I immediately went back for a second batch of pallets. Fortunately, we still had plenty. After selling 2 more trailer loads, our balance was already $97,000. I came up with a plan on how to spend all this money, but to make it work, we needed to earn even more. So I decided to sell all the available goods we had at the moment. First, I went to get the remaining pallets, then moved on to selling the strawberries. After finishing with the pallets, I arrived at the greenhouses and saw that we didn't have much in terms of strawberries, but I still decided to sell them to see how much we could make. I loaded the pallets, secured them with straps, and headed to sell them. In the end, we made about $7,000, which isn't bad, considering all they need is water, which we get for free. Now that everything is sold, we're back to dealing with silage again. After selling a couple of trailer loads of silage, we head back to the farm, since we now have a pretty decent amount of $140,000, which is enough to execute what I have in mind. First, I wanted to focus on animals, and for that, we needed to demolish the old buildings, which cost us $15,000. On those spots, we'll build new pens, starting with a chicken coop. However, there are still a couple of trees in the way, so we'll have to cut them down. And we'll take the resulting logs to our sawmill. After quickly cutting them down, we chop them into smaller logs and take them to the sawmill. Then we return and finally build our chicken coop for $18,000. But we won't buy the chickens just yet. We'll wait until the wheat in our field is ready to harvest. Now, let's continue since we still have a fairly large area near the farm. I think it would be wise to create another field there. But before that, I'd like to upgrade our equipment, and luckily, we have enough money for that. So we head to the store. I decide to start by buying a new tractor from John Deere, the most expensive purchase so far, and along with it, I get a brand new subsoiler for $10,000. Now our work in the field will be much faster. After the purchases, we could return to the farm, but I wasn't in a hurry to create the new field since I was already quite tired and would prefer to take on that task tomorrow. After a good rest, I immediately took the tractor in the morning and got to work. First, as always, we marked the boundaries of our field. After 30 minutes, they were set, and we ended up with a large field. Now we start plowing all the land within these boundaries. With the new tractor, the work goes much faster than before, and I'm really glad I bought it. When I finished creating the field, I was thrilled with the final result. By this time, it was already the afternoon, so I decided not to waste any time and get it planted. So we take our planter, which still had some corn seeds left, and get to work. Thanks to the tractor's power, the process went much faster than before, which caused me to accidentally destroy some crops in the neighboring field. After planting nearly half of the field, the seeds in the planter ran out, so I had to head to the store. After buying seeds for $2,500, we immediately returned to the field to finish the job. It took us about another hour. We've done a lot of work today, but I also want to build a house. We have $20,000 in the account, which, as you can imagine, won't be enough. So we need to earn several more tens of thousands of dollars. To do this, we head to the silage and sell almost all of it. Along with that, I decided to sell some strawberries as well. Since it was already getting dark, I quickly removed the sides from the trailer, headed to the greenhouses, carefully loaded a few pallets, and went to sell them. After the sale, we finally had enough money for a proper house. We return to the farm, sell the tent we no longer need, and build our new house, which cost us $50,000. Wow, I'm just thrilled with it. So if you want to see what happens next, just subscribe to the channel. That's all from me. Bye.